Hi everyone, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back from that action-packed weekend in which we did witness Barcelona being beaten by 2-1 against Las Palmas, while Real Madrid managed to overcome Getafe. Back in the Premier League, where our focus is almost always on matchday 13, quite entertaining action there. The rebirth of Manchester United as they put 4 past Everton, while Arsenal continued their winning ways. Chelsea coming in still 3 like a lethal snake, putting 3 past Aston Villa, while Liverpool ended Man City's title defending hopes, like literally, because they put 2 past the reigning champions. So where do we even start? Because there's plenty to talk about, and yet time may not be our best ally, but we will do our best to cut through it all. So, for starters, allow me start things off at Anfield, where Liverpool were immaculate as they put 2 past Man City. Those 2 goals from Cody Gakpo and the penalty from Mohamed Salah were just enough to see off Man City, with Liverpool fans chanting that Pep Guardiola is going to be facing the sack, and himself in return responding to them by showing them a sign of 6 Premier League titles that he has won during that time. And yet he did say that he was quite surprised by those chants, but nonetheless he says, yeah, when you win, you laugh at the opponent, and when you lose, it's a bit hard to take. But anyways, Anna Slot, how many superlatives can we put on this guy? He's been immaculate. He hasn't really done much in terms of changing how Liverpool play, or because we are talking about a person who inherited a squad and only added 1 person or 1 player in Federico Chiesa, who has hardly played a game for Liverpool because of injury, and yet he's tweaked just a few things here and there, and they've been immaculate, very immaculate. What, 20 games on now with 18 wins, 1 loss, and a draw? If that's not immaculate, I do not know what will be, because they are looking unstoppable. And in my opinion, yes, it may be too early to change my earlier predictions of the season, in which I did predict that Man City would lift the Premier League title, but Liverpool are increasingly having the title kept at Anfield as we speak. 11 points ahead of the reigning champions in Manchester City, and 9 points ahead of a second-placed Arsenal, there, as we will see on the Premier League table. So, in that particular game, we did see Virgil van Dijk playing arguably one of his best games in a Liverpool shirt for as far as we can remember. He did everything right, but that moment where he concedes possession to Kevin De Bruyne, who had just come on the pitch, and Callagher was there to save them. Other than that, Man City, yes, had their moments. They tried to dominate some moments of the game through possession, but it didn't yield too much, because like we had said in our preview or in that analysis, that Liverpool were not strangers to conceding possession, but then picking up their moments, and they could have even scored more. But Stefan Ortega was equally good, because there's a keeper to beat that. Mo Salah, fails to score, and slices that ball wide of the mark and all that kind of thing. But Liverpool are unstoppable, and I think they will go ahead to win the Premier League title if nothing changes, if they do not suffer a slump in form, if they do not suffer a blip like Arsenal did suffer recently, just as much as Man City are facing right now. 7 games without a win, 4 straight losses in the Premier League there. The first time, of course, it is happening to Pep Guardiola in his career. But, I mean, is there a way back for Man City? We can never say never, because football is never short of surprises, because they do come when we least expect them. Otherwise, we'll wait to see what if Pep Guardiola can redeem his side, and Kyle Walker putting out a statement there saying that yes, their performances are below standard and below everybody's expectations, but he does say that we have been here before, we've suffered together before. Let's have each other's back and see our way through all this. Anyways, allow me keep that at that, and then move on to where next. Let's start at Chelsea, because Chelsea are still 3 incredible. They're not mentioning themselves anywhere in the title race, and yet they are right at the center of it. Every time it is mentioned that other title contenders, they've dismissed those remarks. We saw Cole Palmer do the same thing. We saw Enzo Maresca do the same thing. He did say, yes, we are winning games, but we are nowhere near competing with Man City, with Arsenal and Liverpool. And yet, they are right in the mix of that Premier League title pursuit, only behind Arsenal. By what? By the alphabet, by the head-to-head advantage, or that Arsenal scored a goal at the Stamford Bridge because they've scored a similar number of goals. They both have a goal difference of plus 12. They've conceded a similar number of goals and all that kind of thing. So, Nicholas Jackson, I think now 8 Premier League goals to his name in 13 games. That's quite impressive for a striker that some were quick to dismiss almost at the tail end of last season when things were not really clicking well for him. He's looked to be reborn. Enzo Fernandez, immaculate in that game, scoring the second goal with a spectacular half volley past Emiliano Martinez. Quite impressive. Again, Enzo Fernandez looking like a very, very different player. And then, of course, Cole Palmer, once again, there to put the icing on the cake, scoring a spectacular there in the second half. The assist being provided by Noni Madueke, while he did also provide that Cole Palmer, provide the assist for Enzo Fernandez's goal. So clearly everything is clicking for Chelsea. They're doing things right. The way the manager rotates the team, every time he reads out the lineup, you feel that they have a lot of fresh legs in their squad because this match day player is in the match day squad. The next time he's not even in the match day squad. Later on, not on the bench, nothing like that. So players are being rested. Players are being given the opportunity. 1 minute you're talking about Jordan Sancho. The next game you'll be talking about Chao Felix. The next game you'll be talking about Romeo Lavia alongside, Moises Caicedo in the absence of Enzo Fernandez. And then he is back in Mikhailo Mudryk. All these players. Noni Madueke has been kind of silent ever since that spectacular performance that he did have, I think, against Wolves. So clearly, Enzo Maresca is getting a lot of things right, and they are right in the mix of the title pursuit there in third place on the Premier League table there. So next, our flight will take us to Old Trafford, where Manchester United put 4 past Everton as Ruben Amorim recorded his second victory of his Manchester United managerial career and the first in the Premier League era there, because they were really fantastic. Yes, Everton did show signs of resilience in the first, 20-25 minutes or so, but they were bound to be broken. And it was Marcus Rashford there breaking them in a well-crafted set piece of a corner. Bruno Fernandes, I think it was, slotting in that ball, catching the Everton defense flat-footed because it gave away a lot of space for Marcus Rashford out, who was standing somewhere outside the area or close to the line, something like that. He comes in and taps that ball, which is deflected past, I think, Jordan Pickford. I think it was deflected by Gerard Braithwaite, that Everton defender. So, very, very beautiful goal. And then Joshua Zirkzee, proving everyone that the manager was right to give him the nod to start that particular game. He ended the game with the brace just as much as the contribution that Marcus Rashford had. Amadou Diallo. I mean, I've said this before that Amadou Diallo could be the rough diamond in this Manchester United team, and we are starting to see it. A player being coached right, a player who had to overcome lots of injuries in his Manchester United spell ever since joining them, I think from Atlanta, and then now he's being coached well and things are clicking for him. I think he has about 2 goals and 4 assists in the last couple of games. So clearly, everything is going right for Amadou Diallo, and there is more to see from that youngster there. And then, of course, entirely, Manchester United had a good day because it was 2-0 at halftime. Just 30 seconds into the second half, and Marcus Rashford was again on target to put Everton to their ruins. James Tarkowski, I don't know, you lose a ball in that manner, and then you'll literally drag your feet in running back. Sean Dyche will really, really be, displeased with that performance. But anyway, United, that result puts them out of the bottom half of the table into about ninth place on the Premier League table, just about 4 points away from the top four, something there about. So quite very impressive a result there. And I do think Manchester United is being reborn. Should they get a result against Arsenal, it could be a draw, it could be a victory. We'll see. You'll let me know your predictions down in the comment section because they travel to the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday. But Ruben Amorim is cooking something and he may get ready faster than we actually thought. Anyways, away from that, let's go to the London Stadium where West Ham United did host Arsenal and Arsenal put them to a sword, scoring 5 goals in the first half as they beat them by 5 goals to 2. Of course, Arsenal are breaking the deadlock off a set piece. There, a corner kick floated in by Bukayo Saka, Gabriel running from out of the back, down south the back, and then lashing onto that ball and heading it in the back of the net. And then Leandro Trossard again scoring. A simple tap in with Bukayo Saka providing the assist as Kai Havertz, missed that by a whisker. Leandro Trossard was at the end of it. Minutes later, again, Bukayo Saka wins a penalty for the Gunners. He holds the ball as though he will take the penalty, but he hands over the ball to his captain in Martin Odegaard, who, had no problem scoring past Lucas Fabianski there. And then Leandro Trossard, in another quick play, provides the assist for the fourth goal as Kai Havertz went, and open and was left with just the keeper to beat, and he did well to beat him. So it was a 4-0 at that moment, and then West Ham in 2 minutes scored 2 goals to give Arsenal a scare. It gave us flashes, bad memories of that infamous 4-4 draw between Arsenal and Newcastle. For those of you that remember Alan Pardew's Newcastle that had the likes of Hatim Benafa, the late Ismail Chak Tiote, that team, that's the team that, forced Arsenal to a 4-all draw when that scoreline had been 4-0 at halftime. So Aaron Wan-Bissaka scoring in his second consecutive game, having scored against Newcastle on Monday night last week, was on target to pick the first consolation for the Hammers. And then in an unprecedented incident, Anthony Taylor awards a weird free kick to West Ham after a Declan Rice tackle because he did win the ball in that particular incident. Anthony Taylor was right before the area where the challenge was done, but he still gave away the free kick. And then once they set up for that free kick, I remember telling those that I was watching the game with that David Raya has given away too much space on the other side of him, hoping that the wall will do enough. But I did think they were going to concede. And Emerson stepped up and scored a spectacular free kick. So in 2 minutes, it was 4-2. And Arsenal, you did feel that little bit of scare, that bit of concern from the manager on the touchline there, that things were not going according to plan after that goal went in. But Arsenal did respond because they did win another penalty. And once again, Bukayo Saka stepped up and slotted that ball past Lucas Fabianski to make it 5-2. When they returned for the second half, West Ham did play well, but for Arsenal, it was a matter of managing that game, giving their key players a bit of rest and, bringing on other fresh legs. Of course, it is a game that in which they came very late on without Thomas Partey. He says it is mentioned that he has a muscle injury. Now, we do not know the extent of that. It could be short term, it could be long term. Usually when Thomas Partey suffers a muscle injury, it's one of those that usually puts him out for 4 to 5 weeks, and then he struggles a bit to, regain his form when he returns. And yet he's been in immaculate form recently. But we will wait to hear from Mikel Arteta on Tuesday afternoon when he does speak to the media ahead of that clash with Manchester United. And then, of course, it is reported that Mikel Merino, the summer signing for the Gunners there, has a slight knee issue there, so he was absent for that particular fixture. And then, of course, we all know Ben White is out of that, and so those were the key, changes. That's why you had Jorginho in there, Declan Rice, all who I did think that really performed well. But if Arsenal are to get a decent result against Manchester United, if they are to beat up against Manchester United, my gut feeling tells me they really need Thomas Partey to be present in that midfield because he offers them so much more than just being a holding midfielder. He offers them so much more defensively, just as much he does offer going forward in terms of, his one-touch play, his long passes. We did see that against Sporting Lisbon. I think in the build-up to, I think the first goal, that ball he plays into Bukayo Saka to lay it off to, Gabriel Martinelli on the other side. So clearly, Arsenal were very impressive on the day that was on Saturday. So do let me know what your thoughts are on those particular results there for you. Tottenham and Fulham, they did share the spoils in a 1-1 draw, while in the other games, we also did see Newcastle share the spoils with Crystal Palace in a 1-1 draw, conceding a late equalizer there for Newcastle was very disappointing for the manager and the entire squad. Wolves being put to the sword there, beaten by 4-2 by Bournemouth at their own turf, that is at the Molineux Stadium, while Nottingham Forest returned to winning ways in their 1-0 victory over Ipswich Town. Crystal Palace, we've already mentioned that, while Brentford also thumped Leicester City, who had just announced Ruud van Nistelrooy as their new manager, beating them by 4-1. Anyways, do let me know what your thoughts were on those particular fixtures and your predictions. Like I did mention, midweek we do have games. We have games on Tuesday. We do have games on Wednesday. They are in as we enter into match day 14 of the Premier League. So at this point, you all know what the table standings look like. Liverpool on top, Arsenal second place, Chelsea third, Brighton fourth, Man City there in fifth place, while Nottingham Forest are sixth, seventh is Tottenham, Brentford eighth, Manchester United ninth, and Fulham, 10th there to complete the top half of the table. But as far as upcoming games go, here is what will be coming your way come on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday night, Ipswich Town will be up against Crystal Palace, while Leicester City will welcome West Ham United. Those are the two games that will be played on Tuesday night, while the other games, the majority of the games, will come on Wednesday night, when Everton will be at home against Wolves, Man City host a stubborn Nottingham Forest, Liverpool will be away to Newcastle at St. James's Park. They did win there last season by 2-1. Liverpool having the red card in that particular fixture, but Darwin Núñez coming off the bench to score a brace to cancel out Anthony Gordon's earlier goal and also bag the winner for the Reds there. And then Chelsea will be beating Southampton at St. Mary's Stadium, while Arsenal will be hosting Manchester United. Aston Villa, 8 games without a win, will be at home against Brentford. Brentford just getting back into form at the right time to face this Aston Villa side. Fulham up against Brighton, while Tottenham will be away to Bournemouth. So that's the run of fixtures that will be coming your way this midweek. Do let me know what your thoughts are, your predictions, and your comments. Stay tuned to the channel. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.